All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. This morning, we're going to be talking a little bit about leadership, how leaders are readers. When my life started to change, when things started to get better for me, one of the things that I implemented into my life was, consuming high levels of knowledge, just high levels of knowledge, high volumes of knowledge. Everything in my life got better when I got better. And so that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Leaders are readers. Let's get started. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up. All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you guys are having an awesome morning. Man, I have an awesome morning this morning. I got up, got after it at the gym this morning. I'm feeling good. I listened to some music on the way to the office, which I normally do not do, which sounds pretty crazy, but it is true. I usually listen to podcasts or audiobooks or something like that while I'm traveling, or I drive in the car in complete silence, right? That is kind of the time that I have to unpack and kind of let things go. So this morning, I got a lot done, man. I got up and got after it, and I'm feeling great this morning. So I hope you guys are as well, and I hope it'll be an awesome Wednesday for you. But I wanted to kick this morning off talking about leadership, and I wanted to talk about, just the concept of, how often people, you see people that don't read or don't continue to educate themselves. And so I wanted to stress to you guys the importance this morning of, reading. And when I started on the journey of, really being very interested in personal development and growth and really looking at, what did I want my life to become and what did I want to accomplish? I looked at, I started studying some of the most successful people that I knew. And I didn't study, what they did. I studied how they did it. And I looked for those nuggets of things that, could stand out, could be a difference maker for me. And the one consistent thing, there was a few consistent things, but one of the consistent things that I saw over and over and over again was the volume of education, of self-education that these people were doing. And so that led me to, starting to purchase and read a lot of books. I would say, I haven't counted, but I would guess it's in the hundreds of books that I've read, over the last handful of years. I, generally speaking, read about a book a week, whether that's on Audible or a regular book. But I'm trying to get through a lot of information. And the reason for that is, I'm trying to learn things, and I'm focused in on specific subjects. I'm trying to become more of an expert in some. I'm trying to become an expert in some. Some I'm just trying to learn what the heck I'm doing at all. But reading is one of those important factors, and so that's what we're going to talk about here this morning. But first, as always, I want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening, Tammy Clark? Good morning to you. Daniel Good, Jared Bird, Scott Rhodes, what's happening, man? Curtis, good morning. Eric, Trudy, and Bruce Pulver, good morning, guys, and thanks for being here. So, why do people read is a question, right? Why do people actually read? Sharif, what's happening, man? Callie, good morning to you. Thank you. Awesome. I have a bunch of those books sitting over there that I'm just waiting to give away. So if anybody needs an uncommon leadership book, let me know and I will ship you one because I got a handful. So when it comes to reading, guys, why do people read? What is it that drives them to continue to read? For me, one of the most consistent things that I am consuming is scripture, right? I'm reading the Bible on a regular basis, and that really centers my soul, right? It really centers everything in my life. But beyond that normal reading, what is it that I'm reading, and why am I reading it? For me, I like to learn from other people. I like to learn from other people's mistakes. I like to learn from other people's successes. And by reading books, by consuming books that allow you to learn some of the most advanced things that other successful people have figured out already. It allows you to have, almost the cheat codes to life, right? And in every single book that I read, every single book that I pick up, and I've read some bad ones, not so good ones. I've read some really, really exceptional books. But every single book that I read, and I don't care if it's terrible, there is at least one lesson in that book that I can pull away. And so every single book that I read, every single book that I purchase is purchased with intention. It's purchased because of a recommendation from someone that I trust, someone that I admire, who is reading a book that's on a topic that fits into, what it is that I'm trying to learn. That is exactly how I choose books and why I read them, because I've chosen categories in my life that I want to, know more about. Those are, leadership, sales, marketing, self-development. So self-confidence, psychology is a big one that I read a lot on. I'm trying to think. I got a bunch of books sitting here that I read on a regular basis. If you walk into my office, generally speaking, there is books sitting on my desk. And that's because, when I sit here throughout the day, I pick them up, I'll read a few pages. I'm generally reading, 10 to 30 pages a day, at least, depending on how good the book is. Sometimes I'll pick up a book and I'll finish it in a day. If it's a small book and it's really interesting, I'll read through the whole book in a day. But, the title of this show is Leaders Are Readers. And I think that it is important for all of you to know this. If you guys are in leadership and you're not taking the time to read specifically, consume content, you can listen. A lot of people love Audible. That it's a great go-to for me. I can listen in the car. I also have, a huge beanbag on the other side of my office called a love sack, and I'll flop down in that and I'll listen to Audible, or I'll pick up a book. But to me, reading is like going to the gym, right? If you don't do it, you're going to get unhealthy. And so up here, you're going to get unhealthy. In your mind, you're going to get unhealthy because there's no new information coming. And the world, guys, is moving so fast. Everything about business, everything about life, everything about children, how to raise children, it's all changing. And so if you are not educated on it, this is one that I picked up that I would recommend all of you guys to pick up. This is by a guy that I have a lot of respect for. His name is Dan Fleischman. He's an entrepreneur, very successful guy, youngest guy to ever take a company public at the age of 23. He is a social media mogul, serial entrepreneur, philanthropist, angel investor in over 37 companies. And he wrote this book called How to Set Up Your Personal Brand for Under $1,000. And I have a lot of respect for and admire Dan. And I think that would be a super beneficial book for you guys to pick up. But, when it comes down to what you read, that is a personal decision. What do you want to know more about? In my world, there are things I want to know more about. There are things I don't want to know any more about. And I will just, hire people to do those things in my life. I have no interest in being educated on, certain things. I require a certain level of education to be able to know enough to have conversations. But, I don't need to read hundreds of books on things that I'm not going to do on a daily basis. But I do need to read hundreds of books on the things that I want to be excellent at, right? So Eric, that would be one of the books that I would recommend. I have not read that whole book yet in full transparency, but I can tell you from what I have read and just by knowing Dan that it'll be an incredible book. Beyond Positive Thinking is one of my favorite books. It probably is my favorite book of all time. And that's by Dr. Robert Anthony. Any book by John Maxwell is a great one. I'm a huge John Maxwell fan, but when it in 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership is one of the best books that you could read. I've probably read it a ton, 20 times. And Think and Grow Rich is another one. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is another one. These are all classics. The Magic of Thinking Big is another one. So, there's a whole list, and I can drop a list in the comments here of some of my favorites. But, getting back to the conversation of just, teaching yourself and kind of creating that discipline in your life to read, it does so many things for you. It will separate you from your former self better than anything that you can do in your life. It will help you become more self-confident. It will help you become more knowledgeable. It will make you feel more comfortable in conversations because you always have new information to share. And that is, it's great to be in conversations and feel comfortable and feel valuable to other people, right? And to be able to share that knowledge is one of the things that I enjoy the most about, self-education. To give you guys perspective, I never enjoyed reading in my life. When I was growing up in school, English was like my least favorite subject. It just wasn't exciting to me. I loved math, enjoyed history. English just wasn't my thing. But as I got older and I started to figure out that, this investment in self-education, this investment in knowledge, this investment in learning new things, it could make me more successful. It could make me more knowledgeable about things. And that would ultimately create the security and success that I was looking for. And so as I started to do that on a more regular basis, at first I probably read, I don't know, a handful of books a year. And now, I try my best. It doesn't always happen, but by the end of the year, my goal is to read 52 books, one book per week, every single week. And so if I could consume one book a week, and they're not all long. I mean, if you guys, start looking at different books like this book by Dan Fleischman is very easy. It's a light read, and it's 120 pages. So it's not difficult. It's a quick and easy read. And there's a lot of books like that, but there's a lot of knowledge packed in those books that can really help you. It can help you become a better leader. It can help you train people to read themselves, right? Help others understand the value of education. And so I didn't value, reading my whole life. But as I got older and as I started to figure out that this was the big separator that I saw between the highest level of success and everybody else in the world, it is what I leaned into. I became committed, obsessed, I would argue, over education, over how I could educate myself, right? How I could consume content. So it's why, for those of you who have ever considered starting a podcast, people are listening to music a lot less and they're listening to podcasts a lot more because the world's moving fast. Education is moving fast. And so if you don't keep up, if you're not a person who is consuming a lot of knowledge, you're going to be left behind. You're going to fall in to that group of average people that, you might live an okay life, but if you have big dreams, you have to put the effort in behind it. And that the biggest effort that you have to put in is self-education. And so make no mistake, leaders are readers. They make time for it. People say, well, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't claim to be the busiest person in the world, but I would put my schedule against most people. And I find a way. I cut out that time. I become more disciplined. I find a way to multiply time so that I can always fit in time to read all of those books that you see back there. And I've got hundreds more back at the house. And I've got hundreds more in my Audible app that have all been consumed. And I tell you that not because I want you to, be proud of me for being a reader, because I want you guys to understand that no matter how busy you are, you can find time to consume content. You can find time to book. You can find time to listen to one on Audible. And if you're not doing that, there is no neutral in life, guys. There is no standing still. You're either growing or you're going backwards. You're either moving forwards or you're moving backwards. Staying the same is an illusion. You're not staying the same because the people around you are getting better every single day. And so the true leaders in the world, the people who will lead your company, your country, your everything in the future are most likely going to be people that are well educated, they're well read, and they're seasoned on the topics that they speak about, that they educate about. You know, when I'm asked to speak places, I don't speak about anything that I haven't read extensively about, because when I get on a stage, I don't have to think about what it is I'm going to say. I don't have to be nervous about not knowing what to say or losing track, because I know exactly what it is, because I have studied whatever that topic is, whether it's leadership or marketing or sales or digital. Everything that I speak on, I have read dozens, if not hundreds of books on. And so I want you to think about that in your own life and think about, you know, are you doing a good enough job on self-educating yourself? You know, the resources in our world today make it easier than ever for you to become self-educated. And so if you just stay committed to reading on a daily basis, if you're not reading at all, start it out on a weekly basis. But you got to start. Order some books today. Download Audible. Use that as your way to consume knowledge. If you're not growing, you're losing, guys. And if you're not self-educating yourself in 2021, man, you are going to be left behind. Because I know a lot of people that are doing big things, and every single one of them reads. Every single person that I know that is in a high position and going places, every single one of them consumes content and specifically reads books. I hope this message was helpful for you guys this morning. If it was, please share it out to your pages. We had a lot of people watching live here this morning, so I appreciate you guys. Again, continue to share the podcast. You know, it's very easy to share those episodes. If you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, Google Podcast, Spotify, wherever it is, just continue to share those episodes. It's amazing to see the new people coming on to the platforms and listening or watching the show. And I appreciate all the work that you guys do to help me grow this. And it means the world to me for you guys to spend your mornings with me. So wishing you an amazing Wednesday this week. And I hope you guys crush the rest of the week. I will see you again tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.